Welcome back to my kitchen, Gigi's Kitchen, where you get to learn all things about cooking and tips and just having a general good time. We haven't done a Sunday dinner in a little while, so I thought I would bring one up. This one is a special request. My family loves a special roast that we cook. It's a pork roast. It is a German roast called Spiessbraten, which I learned to cook many years ago, and we still cook it at least once or twice a year. It takes a bit of a prep, but it is so worth it. Spiessbraten is a German pork roast, and it is stuffed, rolled and stuffed and tied. And then it is cooked on a charcoal wood burning fire pit. I don't have a wood burning fire pit. So, although I would like to, normally when I cook it, I put it out on the propane grill with a little aluminum foil packet full of wood chips. But I was talking to my friend Grayson, the grill master, and he said, no, we're going to do this with a wood burning grill. I said, okay. So he says that he's going to go shopping for me and bring me a grill we can use to put the pork roast on. So tomorrow, hopefully, we will get this on a wood burning fire. So I thought today I will go ahead and prep the roast. I'll tie it and wrap it and put it in the refrigerator. It can stay in there until tomorrow, and then once he gets here and we get to have the big unveiling of whatever it is he's decided I need, then we will go move on and get the grill ready. Usually it takes about 2 hours, 2 to 3 hours, depending on the size. Now this is a small one, so I'm hoping under 2 hours. We're also going to have with this some boiled buttered potatoes and fried cabbage. And then we also always have a gravy, which usually is the onion gravy. I'm not going to demo that today because we did that in the roast video, so you can go there. I'll add a link for it. But anyway, so I'm looking forward to pulling this roast together, and so let's cook. So let's review our ingredients. The main ingredients for the roast is the roast. It is a pork butt. It's a whole pork butt, but it is boneless. And this one's about 3 pounds. Is what I normally use. We will butterfly it, and I'm going to go over that and show you how we do it. Then you lay it out flat, and then we have some German mustard with the whole mustard seeds. We'll spread that on. Then we will add some, and I can never say this right, so I'm sorry, but cornichons, which are little pickles. And here is a jar of them. You can see what they look like in there. And they're just little bitty pickles about like this size. Okay? The big thing about these is that they don't have any dill in them. It's mainly onion, some coriander. Let's see what the ingredients say. The little pickles are the little cornichons, water, vinegar, salt, onions, mustard seed, black pepper, and coriander. So there's no dill in this. So we wouldn't use an American style pickle in this recipe because it's just too much dill. But the cornichons, I think that's how you say it, are really the one that's the preferred pickle to use, and it adds a really nice tartness to it. So then we've got our seasoning salt, which is our no salt seasoning blend with a little bit of paprika added into it. Then of course we'll have some bacon that we will lay inside, and then for the smoked, and this is some smoked Arkansas bacon that I had sliced at the butcher. One of the other things that you can put in there, but I have a hard time finding, are brats that you can slice, smoked brats that you slice real thin, and you would lay that in instead of the bacon. It works very well. Some onion. You can add cabbage if you want. We're having the fried cabbage, so I'm not going to stuff it into roast. So then we roll it all together, and then we tie it with our butcher string, which I've already cut into long strands, ready to go for when we get to that point. So this is our pork butt. I've already took it out, and it's wrapped in string, took all the string off. I've already rinsed it and patted it all dry. But one thing that we want to do is we want to butterfly this so it'll lay flat. So we have to make sure we get it out good and flat. One of the things that's really important is to make sure you have a nice long pointy knife, very sharp. Another, if you don't have one, a bony knife, you could use a fillet knife if you have someone in your family or you yourself fishes and has a really nice sharp fillet knife will work very well too. Now there's no bone in this because it's already been taken out, but if you had to take the bone out, then you could just, slide around the bone, take the bone out, and then butterfly it. But when we go to butterfly, we're going to go through and we're going to see how thick it is. So we want to go in thirds. So we're going to go about here, then we're going to cut down, then we're going to come back out. Okay? So here we go. So I'm going to take my knife, and if 1, 2, 3 is all the way there, so I'm going to come in about right here, and I'm going to make sure I get all the way through to the other side, but I'm not going to go through. So then we can lay it out. Now that looks really good right there. Alright, so there we've got half, but I want more. So I'm going to go back the other way. And as you can see, when I go to roll this, and I'll show you in a minute, that I'm going to take me a slice straight down in here, not all the way through, so that I can get down in here and go that way. So we're going to go through, and we're just going to keep going and do the same thing, but in a reverse position. There we go. Get it going. And I try really hard to keep it pretty even so that it's pretty, the thickness is pretty much the same all the way across. Just take your time, don't get in a hurry, and it will come out just fine. There we go. And so this part is still pretty thick in there. I'm going to slice this out a little more. We can fold it back in. I may leave it in there. Actually, I think I'll just take it off. We can park it somewhere else. Now this piece, I'm going to take this big piece of fat off right here. So I'm going to trim it up a little bit. Anyway, so you can see I'm just trimming this little bit of fat and connective tissue out of here. Just fine. So that's all done. That's ready to go. Don't know what I'm going to do with that one. Maybe I'll slice it up and put it back in the middle. Might fill this corner up with it. Now this is how I want to roll it. I want to go this way. And then so when I do that, my fat cap's going to go all on this end. If I go and I roll it this way, which is fine, you can do that, but it's just going to be really, really, really thick, which is fine too. Okay, so I have really big roast that way, and so I think that's the route we're going to go. You can decide what you want when you get yours laid out, how you want it to roll. And I may stick this one back in here, right here, just so I have a little piece to fill that hole right there, and this little piece to fill this hole for butterfly. Now it's time to build our roast. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to get my mustard and I'm going to spread it all over. And this is some tangy. It is not hot. It is just vinegar and mustard, German style. And it has the little mustard seeds in it. You can see them in there. And it smells really good too. This mustard smells so yummy. You could use Dijon if you wanted to. I would not use yellow American style mustard because again it just doesn't have the right flavors. So there. Now I've got my seasoning. I'm going to Sprinkle it all across here. Good layer all over. And then we're going to come back with our pickles. Sprinkle those all over. And I don't know who came up with this about putting pickles in your roast, but it really does work. Gives it a nice tanginess, I guess. And then we're going to take our ham. And we're going to lay it right down on it. And like I said, this is some smoky ham. It's smoked Arkansas. It's ham, which is like a pork butt. And I had him slice it really thin for me. You can use regular bacon. Just, it really needs to be smoky. And then, that looks pretty good right there. I'm going to grab some of these onions over here. And look, I cut, this is a half onion, and they're cut really thin, okay? And we're just going to spread all those out. You can't have enough onions in this dish. Spread those all out, just like that. Maybe a few more. Okay. Alright, that is ready. Now you can add some cabbage to it if you want, and we might just go ahead and throw a few strands in there. And this is shredded cabbage. It's a whole cabbage. If you want to buy the already shredded cabbage you get at the store, you know, and you can get it, it's kind of like ready for coleslaw. And it's already shredded. That works really well because then you don't have to shred it or slice it really thin. You go put that in there. Okay. So, I'm going to step over here and wash my hands real quick. And then we can salt and pepper everything one more time. And then we'll start rolling. So, let's talk about our salt for a minute. We have our mustard, which has a little salt in it. We have our pickles, which have salt in it. We have our ham, which has salt in it. So I don't want to add a whole lot of salt, but I am going to add another layer. So I'm going to take my kosher salt, and I'm just going to sprinkle it a little bit all over. And then I'm going to go in with my black pepper, and we're going to go all over it. And then I'm going to come back with some white pepper. And now I'm going to add the secret ingredient. The one thing that really brings this home to a German roast. We're going to have a little bit of nutmeg over the top of this. So I've got my little nutmeg in here, which it is a nut. So you have to have a grinder that you can grind it with. And all I'm going to do is take my nutmeg, fresh nutmeg, and I'm just going to go over the top of this. Just like that. Just a little. It doesn't take much. Nutmeg doesn't need much. But it's just enough everybody will go, what is that flavor I smell? Whoop! I just dropped it. I think Gracie will have fun with that. I'll get another one out. And I would definitely say do not use already grated nutmeg. You want to make sure that you're using fresh grated, and that smells so good. So that is ready. So now I can roll it, and then we can get it tied. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to take this, and I'm going to roll it right up in here. Make sure everything is stuck down in there good. And I think I'm going to trim some of this fat cap off down here. Maybe not too much. Here we go. And so we're ready. Get my strings. I don't do any fancy tying, knots, fancy butcher tying. This is just home cooked tying, just like I'm tying a shoestring. Go down and tie a knot. I do pull it pretty snug because I don't want it coming apart on me. And then we will add a little salt to the outside and a little black pepper and the rest of our seasoning blend. Then it will be wrapped in saran and placed in the fridge till tomorrow. And then it'll be ready to go. So I'm sliding this under, bringing it up, and tying it off. And this is how I do anything that I'm gonna roll and tie. If I'm rolling a chicken breast or a boneless chicken, or even just when I'm doing little steak rouladins, which is basically you flatten the steak and stuff it and roll it. You can put a string on it. And I just keep this in the cabinet because I use it for all kinds of things. And I just keep going. You can put those little metal things in there. And you can put some toothpicks in there too if you want. There we go. Got my scissors over here. Gonna trim these off. And I like to cook this on the grill about 300 to 325 on my propane. So it's lower than I normally cook a roast. So I want it to be slow, but it'll take about 2 to 2.5 hours to reach about 150, and then 145, 150. You can take it off. It's going to keep cooking on for you because it'll have carryover time, and take it out and then let it rest. So it's ready to go. I'm going to wrap this up and put it in the fridge, and then we'll be ready to go tomorrow when it's time to put our roast on the grill. So I'm excited to see what I'm going to end up with tomorrow. But anyway, there you have it. Spiessbraten. Okay, so this is the new toy of the day, and this is my grill master, Grayson. Anyway, so I said I really wanted to do this German roast on the grill in as close to a traditional manner as I can. So tell me all about it.
Alright, so we got the Expert Grill brand. It's not bad for your buck. It looks like it's got excellent heating control on it. So, and you got your temperature gauge. So easy control on that for a charcoal grill, which is great plus. You got your door right here, so you can throw all your charcoal right here on your adjustable tray. You got your drip tray. We like to put tinfoil over it so when the grease and everything goes on it, you can clean up. And again, it's really great. Inside. You got your warmer, and then this is where your charcoal goes, right in here on that. And then you can also bring them up to get closer to the heat, which is great. It's all about temperature control on this.
That's what we need, because this roast needs to be cooked. If I was doing it on the propane, which is the way I've done it in the past, it would be where it's cool in the middle and the outside burners are on in direct heat. But we really want to do it in the traditional manner. Also, on this little disclaimer, I do want to say that Walmart did not endorse this, and this is not endorsed by Expert Grill. So after we get to using it and Grayson gets a chance to work it over and do his magic, then we'll give you a review on what we think. But for the price, I think it's going to be great.
The most helpful hint I can give to new grillers is always pre-soak your coals. So if you want to come up here, go ahead and look at the coals I got. We got about 2 to 3 pounds of coals. That should last you a few hours. All right, now we're gonna pre-soak them. Now they do got coals that are already pre-soaked and pre-lighter fluid, but those will make your food taste like lighter fluid. We don't like those. So we're gonna just pre-soak it. Get all that goodness in there. We're just gonna let that soak for about 10-15 minutes. Get it all in there, and now we just wait. All right, so now that our coals are nice and pre-soaked for about 10 minutes, we're gonna do another layer of this. Get it all nice and on there. Try to get it somewhat even on there. And then light it up, which is probably one of the funnest parts about grilling on charcoal. Get it all going through. And there you go. And then we're gonna let those get ready till they're all nice and white, which will probably take about anywhere from 10 to 30 minutes, hopefully. And now we just wait again. Next part, now that our coals are all nice and somewhat white, well, the majority of it's white, that means we're ready. And we are also about cooking 400. We're actually gonna try and maintain that at 350, but that'll be pretty easy. We'll go over that later. So for the next part, for our flavors, we are gonna be adding this applewood. Don't really know much about this brand, first time trying it out, but we'll see how it does. What you do, there's actually a bunch of different ways you could use this stuff. The easiest way is just take a chunk and set it directly on the coals. And then you just take a few more chunks, set it right there directly on the coals. Normally you do about 4, from 3 to 4 is pretty good, so we'll leave it at that. And then that'll just start smoking up. And then these normally after they burn down, if they stop smoking, you can always add more. They do burn pretty hot, so you definitely want to watch your temperature on that. And then the other cool thing about these, if you don't have charcoal, you can use these as your fuel to cook meat with, if need be. Well, that's about it for right now. Ready. All right, now we're ready to put our meat on. All you're gonna do, from the sides, straight up, and over here. What we're doing is indirect heat. We don't want it right over the flame, and we're just gonna let it sit and smoke. So we're just gonna do one side at a time, starting with the bottom, and work our way around. We got it going at 350.
Here is our roast off the grill. We're gonna let it rest for a good, I don't know, 20, 30 minutes before we even slice it. So here we go with our Sunday dinner. And we did our Spiessbraten German pork roast, and it is stuffed, rolled, and on the grill. And with the applewood. It looks and tastes awesome. It's already been approved. Our fried cabbage, which has been sauteed cabbage with onions and sour cream. Boiled potatoes with butter and chives. And then of course we have a little bit of gravy to toss over the top of it. And there we have it. Sunday dinner.